Pokemon cards are awesome, and if you're here, I think you might just agree with me on that one. What makes them so great is though such a small and seemingly insignificant piece of cardboard, you can do so much. You can collect, trade, and even battle with them. How you want to enjoy your Pokemon cards is entirely up to you. Personally, I am more of a collector, and I've always enjoyed just looking at my Pokemon cards, staring aimlessly into their artwork. But one thing I've noticed is that, as cool as they are, at the end of the day, they're still just Pokemon cards. They're still just shiny pieces of cardboard, depicting fictional creatures in make-believe environments. They've always been fictitious, and I've never thought of them as anything more. And so, today we're going to change that, because today we're going to be creating Pokemon cards in real life. These will be real Pokemon in real environments. And, of course, we'll also be turning them into real, custom Pokemon cards. What's up guys, Vitkomon here, and welcome to the next episode where today we'll be coming the closest ever to owning real Pokemon. In card form, of course. Because how cool would that be if Pokemon cards were more than just shiny pieces of cardboard, and instead, they became a looking glass into a distant land. So, in order to do that, we can't stay here. Our world is far too boring. In case you haven't noticed, there aren't any Pokemon in it. So, without further ado, let's enter the world of Pokemon. When I finally opened my eyes, I found myself in a strange and alien land. The forest around me seemed to be ablaze with color as autumn burns at its peak. Its fiery cloak devours all of nature, casting a distinct hue of molten red and blazing yellow on the entirety of the landscape. The fire-scarred leaves hang firmly to the trees, as the untamed wind causes them to constantly shiver, lest they be cast to the ground like so many others. But before all is lost, before all is consumed by a lifeless and cold winter, nature must put on one final epic show. And epic it is indeed. As we venture deeper into the forest, I lift my face to the sky and bask in the thick rays of sunlight that now easily penetrate an ever-decaying forest canopy. As I allow the light to dance on my skin, I am suddenly overwhelmed by the earthy smell of the nature around me. It is pungent, yet surprisingly fresh, complete with the aroma of rotting wood, wild mushrooms, and sweet berries. I pause briefly to take it all in, fully aware that this is a unique moment, and one that I should enjoy to its fullest, for I will certainly look back at it later with longing. I smile to myself, delighted, and continue on, nearly skipping along as I ruffle my feet through the carpet of fallen leaves. It is here, in this moment of pure bliss, that I spot something sitting in the middle of the pathway. I can just barely make out its rough figure, enough to determine that it's definitely a Pokemon, but I'm not exactly sure what species it is. What do you think? You see exactly what I do, and as we start to get a bit of a better view, I could really use your help. Quick, let me know in the comment section below, what Pokemon do you think this is? Give me a second, I'm thinking, it's an Eevee, isn't it? How could I have possibly had so much trouble with a Pokemon as universally loved as Eevee? I should have instantly recognized it. Eevee is such an adorable Pokemon, isn't it? I think we're also starting to be able to see it a lot clearer now too, and it seems to be just sitting, right there, in the middle of our path, minding its own business, just enjoying this beautiful autumn day, unaware of its secret admirers, lurking just ahead, just out of view. I'm new to this world of Pokemon, as are you, but I would imagine that seeing a wild Eevee like this might be a rather rare occurrence. They most definitely live out here, out in the untamed wilderness of the forest, but from what I know of its Pokédex entries, they mostly keep to themselves, and stay the way of us humans. In the wild, that is. In the city, they seem to make a rather common pet, and everybody loves them. But oh, really quick, while we were distracted, we managed to get really close to this Eevee, and it is almost in full view now. Let's be careful not to scare it off, we may never get a chance like this ever again. So let's sneak up just a little closer to get a really clear picture of it. And there we go, success, we did it. We now have captured a gorgeous image of this Eevee as it peacefully enjoys this lovely autumn day. Now let's turn it into a Pokemon card. So in order to do that, first we've got to place our Eevee card right here into a blank Pokemon card template. For this, I'm choosing a full art V card template because I really love the way that black and silver border subtly accents the art. But now that we've done that, I'll go ahead and add in the text, as well as the various other elements of a standard Pokemon card. This includes the energies, the V symbol of course, and so forth. By the way, if this interests you and you want to learn how to make your very own custom Pokemon cards, I've got a whole video right here where I teach you how to do exactly that. So don't go anywhere, we've still got much to discover, but once our journey here is complete, go ahead and check that video out and make some custom cards of your very own, because you will see just how awesome this card is about to turn out. But anyways, our card is now fully designed and complete, so let's move on to printing it. For this, I took my card to my local print shop and had them printed for me, on transparency paper of course. Printing the card on transparency paper is vital, because this is what will allow our card to shine just like a real Pokemon card. So, as you can see here, I've got my card printed, but we're not quite done yet, though I promise we're almost there. So now I need a holographic card to sacrifice. We'll pick this little guy here, I'm sorry, you will be missed. And now we'll take some acetone and shave off all of its art. Again, if you want to learn how to do this for yourself in much more detail, it will be the first link in the description below. And with that, our holo card is entirely stripped, and we've now got one super shiny blank Pokemon card. So now we'll take one of our Eevees that we printed, glue that on, and with that, we've just made our very own real Eevee card. It really is awesome, isn't it? I think this thing looks absolutely incredible. And of course, this one has meaning too, because we captured this image ourselves, out there in the wild of the Pokemon world. But anyways, as cool as this Eevee is, there's still a lot more to discover, so let's continue our journey. I wonder what we'll find waiting for us deeper in the forest. Newly invigorated from our miraculous Eevee encounter, I continue along the path. And now, with the first taste of adventure, I press on, more motivated than ever to find something epic. But as I continue along, the imposing forest quickly thickens around me, and soon I find myself surrounded in a woody fortress of trees. The only thing keeping me from losing my bearings entirely is the thought of a softly trodden, leaf-carpeted path only just behind me. But very soon, even that disappears, and I find myself completely and utterly lost. I know that continuing to walk is hopeless, and the last thing that I want is to find myself even deeper into the forest than I already am. And so, as I approach a clearing, I decide to stop for a moment, to rest and perhaps to gather my composure. A sizable tree stump makes for a comfortable seat, and for a moment, I'm at ease. But very quickly, as I begin to take in my surroundings, I can't help but notice that something about it seems off. Something seems extraordinary, and naturally, I can't help but explore. The nature here reeks of age, no doubt existing silently for centuries, indifferent and oblivious to the trifles of worldly life. The further I venture in, the more mysterious and spellbinding the forest becomes, beckoning me to explore deeper and deeper, teasing me with the hope that I might soon reveal some ancient secret hidden within. But the deeper I go, the stranger the nature around me seems. Huge clumps of roots obscure my view, gnarled and twisted as though they had been ripped from the ground prematurely. It's an odd scene of violence and death as the bare trees rot right in front of me, yet it's also uncannily beautiful. Perhaps it's not death that I'm looking at, but life, new life. Amid the decay is lush and thriving foliage, bright, livid greens, as well as blazing reds, oranges, and yellows. It is then that I spot something magical, and when I say magical, I mean truly magical. I should correct myself here actually, because I heard it before I saw it. It was a sound like the twinkling of a million tiny bells. And then, there it was, playfully sitting atop a lichen-covered tree stump. I'm completely shocked, but now I'm given a chance to examine my surroundings far more meticulously than I had before. For now, I think I know why it is the way it is. But even so, I can't help but marvel at the forest's beauty. Somehow, this decay seems to render it all the more beautiful. It is now that I came to realize the true beauty of this clearing. The tall trees are large and obvious, and they're nice in their own right. But ultimately, when they thrive, they inhibit the growth of smaller, more fragile organisms, such that are not often noticed, but the forest as a whole cannot survive without. I think this here is the doing of Celebi, that small green creature we seem to have come across. A gift, a small pocket of the forest, hidden from view, of which most will never come across, and only the most daring may ever hope to discover, let alone understand. I really wish I could stay here forever, but I doubt Celebi will stay much longer, so quick, before it goes, let's immortalize it in as clear a picture as we can, and... there we go. We got it! Now let's turn this special moment into a Pokémon card as well, just as we had with that Eevee. So, it's a process you guys are all too familiar with now. First, we'll create the template and we'll fill in all of its details, including its attacks, HP, and whatnot. After that, we'll print it on transparent paper. Then we'll strip a holo card. And finally, we'll glue our transparent paper onto that. Again, this isn't a tutorial, so I'm not explaining what I'm doing here in great detail. If you want that, it's the first link in the description below. Anyways, I'll speed through this process rather quickly, but as this is a Pokemon card based on our real-life experiences, you may notice that I really wanted the actual card to reflect that, so pay attention to our Celebi's attacks here and you may notice something interesting. But anyways, let's make this card and I'll be right back with you guys, of course, to continue our journey. So there we go, full art Celebi V. A beautiful and now also a meaningful card. Let's see what we can discover next. It'll be hard to top this Celebi, but I think we can do it. That Celebi encounter truly was something special, wasn't it? And best of all, it seems that we have finally found an exit to that maze of a forest. The change in scenery is immediately noticeable, but the familiarity doesn't stop there, because look at that, a road. Finally, we're back in civilization. Though, where in civilization that might be, I haven't any idea. So I suppose we have to follow this road then, surely it will eventually lead to somewhere, right? Come on, let's go. We don't have any time to take in the scenery. As beautiful as it is, we've got places to be and Pokemon to meet. Although I won't lie, I know it's difficult, as even I can't help but sneak a quick glance left and right. There's just something mesmerizing about the autumn scenery, and I can't help but simply stare. It looks like the entire world has had its saturation cranked up just a few notches higher than usual, and whoa, speaking of brilliant colors, take a look at these berries. These must be cherry berries, of course, as we are in the world of Pokemon after all. I doubt they're edible, and I wouldn't take the risk either, nor should you, but well, they're tempting, that's for sure. And on that note, actually, I've got an idea. I imagine these berries would be similar, if not even more tempting to a Pokemon, so why don't we find some place to hide here and wait for something to show up? There we go, did you guys see that? I'll be honest, I'm not sure how long it's been. I think I might have dozed off there for a moment, but in that time, it seems something has shown up to investigate those cherry berries. I think that's a Pikipek, isn't it? The woodpecker Pokemon. It seems to have come for a tasty snack of those bright red berries. But you know, here in this moment, as stunning and special as it is, I can't help but feel a little sad. I'm sad because it really is beautiful. The beauty of autumn truly is unmatched, but it's also highly fleeting. It makes me sad precisely because I'm so happy, yet I know it won't last. It's inevitable. Autumn at its core is nothing more than the slow decline of summer, of sun and light as it approaches a dark and dreary winter. Even so, I love autumn. I love its bittersweetness. I love that it's cold because it makes the unexpectedly warm days all the more enjoyable. I love the colors, and I love the rain, and you know what? I love winter too. Because what good is summer? What good is its warmth without the cold of winter to give it charm? As they say, one too many sunny days will inevitably result in a drought, and after all, the leaves must fall so that they can grow back stronger. And on that note, take a look at this Pikipek. Though this moment is fleeting, and just like every Pokemon before it, we can't stay here forever. We will have to leave, and so will the Pikipek. But we do have one advantage, and that is that it's not fleeting, because this memory will become forever immortalized into a Pokemon card. So, quickly, while this Pikipek has come into full view, let's snap a nice picture, and there we go, I got it. Now let's do that. Let's make it into a Pokemon card. So, at this point, I won't bore you guys with the process. You know exactly what we've got to do here. Of course, we'll place our Pikipek into a template, we'll fill in all the details of a Pokemon card, we'll print it on transparent paper, and then we'll strip a holo card. And finally, once all that's done, we'll glue our Pikipek onto it. So, I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with you guys. So there we go, one beautiful Pikipek card to remind us of a fleeting yet forever memorable moment. I think we're really starting to build a collection up here, but if you guys thought these cards were cool, well, I won't spoil anything, but I think we're about to face something unlike anything we ever have, and quite frankly, ever will. So brace yourselves for this one. After the Pikipek had left, I continued following the road for some time. It felt like hours, though it was no doubt quite a bit less. In any case, as I walked, I noticed the foliage, slowly but surely, began to decline, as the weather, however, only grew in ferocity. It began with a gentle hissing in the air, but soon the wind picked up greatly, and even the sky above me was no longer the dome of plasma blue I had previously taken so for granted. Fearing the worst, I quickened my pace, until eventually the road ended, and I was met by a rocky beach overlooking a vast and epic ocean. Here, the sky seemed utterly hostile, exhibiting streaks of cinder-gray clouds that blot out the sun and threatened to break out in rain with no warning at all. The whitecaps continued to crash into the shoreline, beating against the rocks and contaminating the once pleasant and warm air with a cold and salty mist. There was no choice, I had to press on. The shoreline was now my road. The bliss of adventure had ended long ago, and now all I wanted to do was find a way back home. And so I stumble along the rocks, fighting against the merciless elements as the unrelenting wind beats against my face and my body. It's too much, I can't do it. No matter how hard I fight, my efforts go to no avail. This is not nature, something is trying to keep me from making it. My legs begin to tremble violently, and soon, even the effort of simply standing becomes too great a burden to bear. I collapse to the ground, my beaten and worn body pressed hard against the sharp, ice-cold rocks below. But out of the corner of my eye, I spotted something. Something like I had never seen before. Something I don't think anybody has ever seen before. Something ancient. Something far too great for the eyes of a mere ordinary person like me. I am in the presence of a legend. I think, could it be Lugia? I felt the air suddenly become especially frigid, almost piercingly numb, so much so that my body felt stiff as though I was turning to stone. I struggled to keep my eyes open, the world threatening to collapse around me. With each new blink, my lids became increasingly heavy, until it was too much. I needed to rest. But what was that? Was it really Lugia? I must see. I must. No, I can't. I awoke with a start. Where am I? Where was I? What happened? I seem to be back home in the real world. The world where Pokemon are merely fictitious creatures. Back to the responsibilities of real life. Here it's difficult to simply go on an adventure. I've got class, I've got work, I've got to make dinner. I've got to decide what to do with the rest of my life. It couldn't have all been a dream, could it? No, it couldn't have. Otherwise I wouldn't have these. These precious memories from our adventure, encapsulated in card form. But one's missing. The last one. That's right. What happened there? Ah, here it is. How it got here, I have no recollection at all, but it's Lugia, the guardian of the sea. I knew it. That explains the strange and ferocious weather. We can't let it stay like a mere image though, so using an oddly familiar process, let's begin its transformation into a real Pokemon card. I'm getting a strange feeling of deja vu here. We've done this before, haven't we? It feels like we have, though I just can't place it. I mean, I certainly remember making some cards, but it's getting difficult to separate reality from what occurred in the world of Pokemon. Or then again, maybe they're both reality. But, here we go, here it is. Our full art Lugia V card. Nobody would believe us if we told them that these are real, but that doesn't matter because we know that they are. And if anything, that makes them even more special because we had a chance to see and to share a secret world in which no one else will ever know. Whether it was real or simply a dream, perhaps we may never know, but who cares? Throughout our journey, the weather was good, the weather wasn't good, and the weather was just right. Despite that, this day was perfect, and every single second of it was memorable. So, let's do this again sometime, why don't we? Let's escape. Join me on another adventure to discover more Pokemon, perhaps in different environments, on a day that, yet again, will no doubt be just right, no matter the conditions we encounter. Because with each rainfall, and with each snowfall, there's always something new to discover, and something new to experience. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video, where we recreated Pokemon cards in real life. Thank you for coming along with me on this beautiful autumn day. And without further ado, stay tuned for the next episode.